Sources say tensions grew at Stellantis after the board felt Carlos Tavares was moving way too quickly and just focusing on near-term solutions to save his own reputation, not working in the best interests of the company. The sudden announcement today indicates that fissures between the board and Tavares are severe enough that the parties decided it was better to go forward without a CEO at all than to continue with someone who is simply acting in his own personal best interests. Carlos Tavares has been fired. Make no mistake, he did not step down willingly. He was fired. This is essentially the highest paid automotive industry CEO. He made $40 million in salary when he was last paid. And this has come on the back of the Stellantis company being in dire straits. We're looking at sales collapsing, profits collapsing. Everything has turned to absolute, honestly, we're looking at a company that many said last year was one of the best in the world. And this year is now one of the worst. What happened? Why have all the media been saying to you guys for the last 2 years, Stellantis, wow, record profits, amazing, doing so well. Why is it that, very few people, of course, I mentioned this many times, mentioned that Stellantis were prioritizing profits over long-term sustainability. That's all they cared about, short-term profitability. That's why the CEO has been fired. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. Great to have you with us. Thank you for supporting the channel. YouTube members, I'll put a link in the description below if you'd like to be a member. Hey guys, I got a message this morning from Jeff, my friend in California. Hi Jeff, saying, hey mate, you called it. And you know what? I think that it wasn't a hard one to call, was it? Many of you guys, I'm certain, were thinking exactly the same thing that I was. Some of you weren't, and that's the whole point for this channel to exist, to educate people, to tell them the media is clearly lying to them. The media were lying to them about the performance of Stellantis. I can cite you literally at least 20,000 articles which were clear obfuscations of the truth being reported by the media. Why? Because Stellantis pays many hundreds of millions of dollars for marketing, and they are driven by the dollar. Now, don't get me wrong, I get marketing on this channel, but I don't care who puts it on there. I couldn't care less who markets on this channel. It makes no difference to me whatsoever. So I'll tell you guys the truth. And the truth is, the CEO did not step down. This is another example of the media lying to you guys over and over and over. I can't, honestly, Donald Trump, what's happened has been insane. But one of the reasons he got elected is because the media continues to lie. Carlos Tavares did not step down willingly. He was told the end of his contract, that was it. Stellantis publicly said, we are looking for a replacement. They forced him out, and he tried to make it look like he retired because he wanted to. There is no truth whatsoever to the fact that Carlos just decided to step down. This was very clearly him being forced out, and this is no different to being fired. Many people have experienced this before, and I'm pretty sure you'd say the same thing. Now, Carlos Tavares actually became the chief executive of Group PSA in 2014, and he played a pivotal role in the merger between PSA and Fiat Chrysler automobiles, which resulted in the creation of Stellantis. Last year, he earned $40 million, which was 518 times the average salary of the average Stellantis employee. So Stellantis said, we're looking for a new CEO. They said this many months ago, and they haven't found one yet. They haven't found one. So who's taking over? Well, apparently the company will be run by interim executive committee, an interim executive committee. So who knows who's going to run this company, but anything would be better than the current or the previous situation. Stellantis chief executive Carlos Tavares, the media says, resigned abruptly on Sunday, 2 months after a profit warning at the maker of Jeep, Fiat and Peugeot cars that has lost around 40% of its value this year. I mean, the numbers from this company are staggering. And what's even more staggering is the fact the CEO is blaming everyone except himself. Maserati sales last year fell by more than 80% worldwide. The company has gone from a pretty powerful, strong company into just completely irrelevant. No one is buying them. The CEO blamed Maserati dealers. He said dealers discounted the cars too much, and that's what ruined the brand. Not the cars themselves, it was dealer discounting. Dealers, of course, responded with shock. They were like, hang on a minute, our sales fell by 80%, even with discounting. In other words, no one wanted them. We had to discount them just to sell a tiny fraction of what we did the previous year. This is the kind of situation that the CEO has created. It's not just Maserati, it's Ram, it's Chrysler, it's numerous brands under the umbrella. The company said it would seek to find a replacement CEO in the first half of 2025. Senior independent director Henri de Castries said in a statement that different views emerged in recent weeks among major shareholders, the board and Tavares, resulting in the CEO's resignation. So the board have told him he's no longer needed. Your services are no longer required, which is the reason why I think it's very obvious saying he stepped down is simply appeasing your advertisers, right? He clearly didn't step down. He was forced. Stellantis said in a statement on Sunday that its board, including Chairman John Elkman, accepted the CEO's resignation with immediate effect and that a new interim executive committee chaired by Elkan would be established. Previously regarded, says many news outlets, as one of the most respected executives in the automotive industry, Tavares' approach came under scrutiny after crashing sales in North America led the automaker in September to issue a profit warning on its 2024 results. In addition to that, the company has had skirmishes with its brands, very public slinging matches. This included a forecast for a cash burn of up to 10 billion euros, 10.6 billion US dollars, mostly due to slow sales and bloating inventories in the North American market, the group's profit powerhouse. The warning triggered a wide reshuffle of the group's top management, including changes of its chief financial officer and of its head of North American operations, but initially spared Tavares. After that, Stellantis and Tavares were not seeking a new CEO term and apparently he was meant to retire at the end of his current mandate, which was in the middle of 2026. Still a year and a half away from today. Stellantis shares have lost around 40% of their value this year, while shares of US rival Ford are down 7%. General Motors is up 55%. You can't say that all ships are sinking, because they're not. Only the Stellantis ship is sinking at this point in time, or so is the Volkswagen Group. Probably so will all Japanese automakers. But anyhow, that'll come in a few years. Elkan, the scion of the Agnelli family, which founded Fiat and is the top Stellantis shareholder through its investment company, thanked Tavares in his role in the creation of Stellantis, the world's fourth largest car maker by sales, and then told him, get lost, go away. Other big shareholders include the Peugeot family and the French government through public investment bank finance. Now you can see why French government policies have been changed over the last year in order to essentially try to help Stellantis. And that is true. If you don't believe that, I can share with you some of the French government policies that have been clearly changed, including their EV mandates. Jeff Latham, who owns a Stellantis dealership in Detroit, said he was relieved at the news of Tavares' resignation. The last year has been punishing for him as his inventory has built up and basically sales of once dependable vehicles that were pretty easy to sell, no one wants them anymore. It couldn't get worse, said Latham, adding the nearby GM dealership has not faced the same challenges. Stellantis dealers have become more vocal with their displeasure in the last few months, sending a letter outlining their concerns to Tavares in September. It was public. They sent a public letter because Stellantis, the CEO, would not listen to them. It was essentially a last resort. Sales of the automaker's vehicles through the third quarter of this year were down 17% in the US compared to the same period a year ago, with significant losses across the Dodge, Ram, Jeep, and Chrysler brands. The automaker has been struggling to sell even 2023 model cars. Literally, drive around America, drive around different countries around the world. You'll see 2023 model cars at many dealerships, many Stellantis dealerships. There are 112 days of supply on dealer lots of Ram 1500 pickup trucks and Jeep Wagoneers, says Copilot data. That's much higher than their rivals. A source familiar with the matter told Reuters that tensions grew after the board felt Tavares was moving too quickly and focusing on near-term solutions to save his own personal reputation, not working in the best interests of the company. The sudden announcement on Sunday indicated that fissures between the board and Tavares had to be severe, given that the parties decided it was better to operate with no CEO at all on a short-term basis. Fabio Caldedo, a portfolio manager at Acom ASGR, which holds Stellantis shares, said new ideas and fresh forces are needed to plan the company's future. Now, why anyone would still hold shares in this company, I have no idea. There has to be some vested interest. I don't understand it. Tavares has led Stellantis since its creation in early 2021 through the merger of Fiat Chrysler and Peugeot-owned PSA. The company had 14 brands, and Tavares warned underperformers among the portfolio were at risk of being axed and sold to the Chinese. His outspoken style has often seen him in conflict with counterparts, including US unions and the Italian government. By the way, Stellantis owes the Italian government $400 million for a battery factory that it never built. Many of them complained about his decisions to reduce automotive production in Italy as well. In America, the United Auto Workers Union threatened a nationwide walkout, alleging Stellantis failed to keep the commitments it made in a contract finalized last year. Stellantis said it has complied with the labor agreement. Of course, Americans think that's not true. Tavares is leaving behind a mess of painful layoffs, many thousands of jobs lost, overpriced vehicles sitting on dealership lots as well, said UAW President Sean Fain in a statement.